this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we're here for another one of our Shop Your Stash countdown for to Christmas episodes. And what I want to do today is shop my stash with some of my old stamps. So I'm just going to pull in a few of my older stamps. So obviously they're kind of, some of my favourites are selected or, you know, laid out, I guess would be the term, or I don't know, stored in this little kind of container. And we did this in the Tidy Fridays. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of pull out a few stamps from here. Let's just have a look. So yeah, I mean, these are kind of just like some of my literally, you know, favourite stamps. Most of them, I've had them for a really, really long time. And then I'm just going to take you across to my other stamp kind of place. So, oh my gosh, look at that tip of the desk. So these are some of my other stamps that, again, you know, my oldies but goodies, as I would call them, kind of, you know, favourites. I have got some of my newer stamps actually in here as well. But yeah, predominantly I've got quite a lot of older ones in here. So I've got these ones. Now these are those Finnabar stamps, or Finnabear, which I really, really love. The only thing is they really don't want to stay stuck on this cellophane stuff. So yeah, they're not brilliant from that point of view, it's got to be said. Let's have a look, see, oh my gosh, my all-time favourite, so of course I must drag that one in. Just see what other ones I've got here. I mean, I put them in here because I wanted to have, you know, fun being able to look through my stamps and kind of grab them out. And yeah, I quite like having them in here. The only thing that I would say is that normally this is not really accessible because I have things piled all over the top of this, you know, this craft cart itself. So yeah, from my point of view, it probably would work out okay, except for the point that actually I normally can't even get to the area itself. So right, okay, I've probably got quite enough stamps here. Just double checking. Oh, perhaps I'll have this one as well. Right, okay, so we've got a little selection going on here. I'm going to, yeah, mount my camera and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. Now, what I've done, I've pulled out my Stays On inks. So I've got quite a few colours here. So, and I've just got also a black. So I'll just get the black one out. And I've also got a mustard, which, oh my gosh, what have I done with that? Here we go. Right, that's my entire collection now of my Stays On inks. I need to do a little label there to put on the back or on the side of the mustard one. So I've got a nice range of stamps to use. Now I've pulled in some brown paper. So this is just some old packaging paper, which I thought we could definitely use. So I'm going to just cut this down so that it's in more manageable chunks, because otherwise it's going to be, you know, taking over the whole desk. So I'm just going to cut it into, you know, similar-ish to like an A4 kind of size. So again, you know, really not too worried, because when we come to use this, you know, it's probably going to be, you know, cut down in various ways anyway. So I'll just cut the straggly bit off here. Okay, right, so I've got brown paper, I have got stamps, I've got inks, and then I've also brought along a whole bunch of, you know, my papers that I have been making with the jelly plate and my inks and things like that. Because again, obviously, you know, I've been experimenting a lot. Some have been successful, some not so much. So again, I'm going to see what I can do with these papers to use them up. So let's put those to one side. Right, okay, so I've got a whole bunch of beautiful stamps here. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to start by doing some pretty background papers, I think. So for the background papers, I'm going to use some of the kind of more like generic patterned stamps, if you see what I mean, rather than these, which are, you know, like a postcard. I'm going to just try and fill in a whole bunch of, you know, areas with some of these, yeah, I mean, generic kind of patterny type stamps, I guess, would be what I would call this. So this is on some scrapbook paper, and obviously this is one of my ones that I did with, you know, ink or paint or whatever. I really can't remember, I'm afraid now. Right, so let's pull in some pretty colours. So I've got here My Stays-Ons, I've got the teal and I've got the azure. I think I'm going to use the teal actually on here, and I probably would quite like to mix it with some other as well. Probably not the black, it's got to be said, but maybe the brown. I mean, I've got very slight pink in the background, but to be honest, you can barely see the pink. So yeah, I'm going to go with the teal and with the brown. So let's get doing some stamping. So again, most of these stamps, you know, I've shopped my stash here, so most of them are, you know, quite old stamps now. So for instance, this one, this Harlequin stamp, I couldn't actually tell you what brand it is or anything like that, I'm afraid, because it's obviously no longer in its packaging. And yeah, I've had it for a really long time, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you can get other, you know, Harlequin type stamps. So just going to ink it off a couple of times. I have ordered some Stays-On stamp cleaner because a few of you had kind of recommended it and said it's really good. It's just not arrived yet, so I'm hoping it's going to arrive this weekend, but who knows. It may or it may not. But yeah, then I would obviously probably clean the stamp off, so hopefully I would get a much more, you know, concentrated teal colour instead of all the, you know, it's re-wetting kind of all the colours that are on there previously. In fact, perhaps I should be really good and wipe it. So let me just grab my wipes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll just give it a bit of a wipe over. I mean, I am terrible and do neglect my stamps completely. So, you know, this is, yeah, just really evidence of how not to use your, or how not to treat your stamps. Really should try and look after them a bit better. But you know what it's like when you're kind of, you know, especially doing videos. I know I always blame it on doing videos, but it's a good excuse. No, I mean, genuinely, I feel that that's really when it's gone downhill. I mean, I'm not saying I was the best at looking after my stamps anyway. That would be just a lie to say that I was. But, you know, definitely doing the videos has not kind of helped because, you know, you're kind of so full on filming that I know I've said this before, you know, I often don't really have time then to kind of clean up or clear up properly. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sat here claiming that I was looking after my stamps properly before, but I maybe was a little bit better and more conscientious than I am now. Oh, that's so annoying because this is still coming out very, very black. I mean, obviously, I've predominantly only really used this with black before, although I must have used it with some sort of red because a lot of red came off on that wipe, didn't it? So I'm just going to give it another quick wipe over. And I'm so sorry, you're probably thinking, why didn't she do this before? Yeah, I definitely should have done, so I do apologise. I hadn't really factored this in, thinking, you know, that it was going to be quite dirty, if you know what I mean. And I should have, yeah, I should have really thought about that, to be honest. These are brilliant wipes. These are some wipes that I got sent by my lovely friend Heather, so thank you so much, Heather. 40 wet wipes. Now, I'm not sure where she got these from, but they seem that they're very good for, you know, cleaning stamps and things like that, to be honest. I mean, I generally use like Aldi's wipes. That's, you know, that's our supermarket here. And I feel like they don't really take the ink off as well as this is doing. So, yeah, I don't know whether these, I don't think they're special craft wipes. They don't say that they are. But definitely, I would say they're working a lot better, you know, than the general wipes that I use. Right, let's hope that I'm getting somewhere a bit better now. Okay, is it beginning to look a bit more teal? A bit more teal and a bit less black. Let's have a look. Okay. I'm thinking maybe I should even get my block out because maybe I'd get a better, you know, better impression with a block. And I do often get people ask as well, why don't I use my block? Well, it's the same reason really, because I'm so rubbish at looking after my stamps. My blocks are generally, you know, not in the best condition. As you can see from this one, it's pretty dirty. So, you know, for me, they're not really that helpful because I can't really see through them anymore in the main. And yeah, I don't like kind of using them from that point of view. And of course, I'm so rubbish, I'm not going to be cleaning them. So I've bought new ones before and very quickly they end up dirty again. Again, when my cleaner arrives, I might, you know, I might treat my blocks to a bit of a wipe. But yeah, so what I tend to do, I mean, it's not really making a difference here because I'm not trying to stamp in a specific place, but what I tend to do is if I use a block, so sometimes it's nice to use a block so you get a more, you know, you can see like a more defined stamped image, if you see what I mean. Then what I tend to do is maybe put my stamp down, you know, where it's going to go, and then just rest my block over it rather than putting it on the block like it is here and then trying to hope, you know, hope for the best that I'm going to stamp it in some sort of decent place. So yeah, right, okay, well, I'm getting pretty good teal stamping going on there. So, and obviously it looked a little bit of a different colour because it was on the book page, so hopefully we're going to get, you know, reasonable teal stamps. So there we go. That looks reasonable to me. Looks really tealy, really tealy. Oh, that just sounded funny, didn't it? Okay, I've got a funny feeling I've got something under there now. Yeah, probably did. So, and again, the other thing is when you're making background papers, you know, and I'm saying this from experience of making this mistake, it's very easy to stamp into the paper, if you see what I mean, staying within the edges. What you want to do is kind of go off the edges, like I'm doing here, like that. Because obviously, you know, if you bought a printed paper, the chances are it's going to be off the page, if you see what I mean. It's not going to be, you know, neatly on that page, is it? So you're going to want to kind of overhang slightly more because that's going to make it look like a proper sheet of paper rather than, you know, if you try and stamp on the paper, you're going to invariably end up with an edge, which is going to look, you know, pretty rubbish, to be honest. And like I say, I'm not kind of saying that to be a know-all or anything. I'm saying it because I've made that mistake myself loads of times. So, you know, just kind of something that I've picked up, I guess, you know, from making that mistake and then not feeling quite happy with, you know, with the results. So, yeah, I would just recommend that you try and stamp, you know, right over the edges, if you see what I mean. So, again, I'm going to just stamp this off in that brown, just making sure that I'm getting a nice brown impression. Okay. Oops, I was in danger of stamping that upside down now. So, yeah, that's just... So I'm going to go in here. And again, you know, I might want to now press it down with the block so as I get a good impression. But again, you know, it's quite nice to be able to put it down rather than use the dirty block that I can't see through. So I'll just put it down where I would like it. And then hopefully, you know, I know there that it's going to be where I want it. Whereas if I'm guessing through the dirty block that I can't see through, the chances are I'm going to have not really got it where I want it. Okay, so again, a little bit more. Maybe up here. And again, just like having it hanging off the page like that. Okay. So, yeah, that one looks really nice, doesn't it? So, I'm thinking maybe this one. Now, do we want this in brown or do we want it in teal? Or we could do maybe a mix of, a mix of both. So, let's again stamp this down onto the book page, see how it's coming out now. See whether it's dirty from another project. Okay, it's not too bad. So, yeah, it's not too bad, to be fair. Let's just pop that down there. Press it down with the block. And then on the bottom as well. Okay, so, I mean, that looks really nice, doesn't it? So, yeah, I might just go for it and just this colour, actually. Because it does look very pretty. So, let's just ink that up. like that. Okay, and just have one here. Okay, and then just the bottom of the stamp as well, like that. Isn't that just gorgeous? I mean, it helps that it's such a beautiful stamp. This one here is a Crafty Individual stamp, and that just sticks in my mind, although it's not in the packaging anymore, because this was one of the stamps that I got when I did my you know, collaboration with them. So yeah, I know for a fact that this is one of those, because, you know, I just remember it from doing that series of videos. But it's a very lovely stamp, isn't it? And obviously, if you wanted to see the name of it or anything, it's in my Crafty Individuals playlist. So yeah, right, I'm going to get this swirly stamp out now. So I'll just take this one. So I might do this with some teal. So again, I'm just going to stamp this off and just check how much black that's going to have coming off of it. Okay, so it's not too bad. Sometimes I find the rubbery stamps kind of cling on to the ink more than like these see-through silicone stamps. I don't know whether that's true, you know, or whether that's just my observation that perhaps isn't true. But I feel like the rubber stamps cling on to the ink more. Oh, not the rubber, yeah, the red, you know, the red rubber stamps. I feel like they cling on to the ink more than perhaps these ones, the clear ones. Okie doke, and let's have that one there. Okay. And might just do like some smaller pieces here. So just kind of going in, you know, rather than the whole stamp, just go in with sort of a part of the stamp, like that. And maybe down here. Okay. Maybe just a bit up here as well. So, I mean, how lovely is that paper looking? It just looks gorgeous, doesn't it? I mean, to be honest, you can't go wrong. If you've got lovely stamps, you know, your paper's going to look nice, isn't it? Because, you know, let's face it, how could it not if you're using a lovely stamp? Right, this one, obviously my absolute all-time favourite stamp, this swirly one. I'm just going to give it a wipe because, like I say, I do feel like these rubbery ones maybe cling on to the ink a little bit more. And to be honest, as you can see, I mean, this is a very, very, very well-used stamp. So, you know, of course, it's going to have lots of different colours probably still on there from other stamping. So, yeah, let's just stamp some of that off here just to make sure it's a little bit cleaner than it perhaps was. Okay. Okay, and I'm just, again, stamping with like a portion of the stamp, if you see what I mean. I'm not kind of stamping the whole thing. I could, you know, definitely, there's no reason why I shouldn't do that. But equally, you know, I don't necessarily need to put that whole stamp down because it's quite a big stamp. For a start, you know, I haven't necessarily got room to put the whole stamp there. But also it's, you know, it's not necessary. It's, you know, it's easier to control, I find, by just using part of the stamp, especially when it's a big one like this. And, you know, as you can see, well, you know, we've got that whole page covered now. We didn't need to kind of have this whole big swirl on there. So how gorgeous is that? I just absolutely love it. So let's pull in another sheet of paper. Let's go for our brown paper now. Now, again, obviously, I should really have ironed this paper out. But, of course, I'm very lazy and I have not bothered. So, yeah, let's just kind of go for it in its unironed state. Now, actually, I'm thinking with this one, so let's do some stamping with the whole of this stamp. Now I've got some ink now onto the brown paper. Again, you know, I'm not going to worry about things like that. So let's just put this down. Now I probably would get better impressions if I actually had taken the time to iron this, it's got to be said. You know, but yeah, I just am very lazy and of course have not bothered ironing it. But that's fine. And you can see, you know, I'm getting ink on here and things. Again, I don't mind that. It all kind of adds really to the, you know, the like grunginess of the background papers. So let's just do a couple more of these. And I'm using the whole of this stamp now on here because this is a very big piece of paper. So, you know, I'm filling it up quite quickly by using the whole of this stamp. Again, you know, I could easily use just a small portion of it, but of course then it's going to take me longer to ink around the entire piece, which, you know, again, I'm just aware that you guys might be pretty bored watching me just stamp these out. So might just get a portion of the stamp now and just do one or two areas now. Yeah, just again, just to fill in a little bit more. I'm going to have to iron this before I come to use it, I think, because it just looks terrible, doesn't it? Yeah, I will have to. So we've got that one. Now, I'm going to mix this, I think, with this azure, which is a gorgeous colour. And I'm going to mix it with the teal again. So let's just get some of the azure going on. So let's have a look and see what other stamps I've got here. Okay. So I might just mix in one or two of these kind of pieces now. So let's have a look and see how this is going to look. So I'll just put this one in here. Okay. I have to say, I've had this for a long time, this azure, so it's probably not the darkest. You know, perhaps should have, yeah, perhaps should have got a different one. Okay, like that. And then can we go in with a bit of, actually, I'm just thinking I could use as well, because I've got that favourite stamp of mine, you know, that massive swirl. I've also got in a smaller size because I just loved it so much. And when I was searching to make sure that I could find it, because I know that lots of you guys wanted to get one, I found it in small size, which, you know, at the time I hadn't realised they did one in a small size. So, yeah, I think I'll go with some small of this as well. Like that. Okay. Oh, definitely I should have ironed this paper. It's very annoying. So I do apologise if you're sat there thinking, oh my gosh, I can't bear watching this because it's so screwed up. I'm so sorry. I will make an effort and iron it before using it. So, yeah. And to be honest, you know, doesn't it look lovely, the small with the big flourish? You know, they really work nicely together, don't they? So, yeah, if you're someone who's bought the big one, or maybe you've bought the small one, you know, definitely don't be put off and kind of think, oh, you know, I've got the big one or I've got the small one. I don't really need the other one. I think they work really lovely together. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fine. Just have the other size, and I had just had the big one for years and years. It was, like I say, purely when I was looking for the stamp for you guys that I came across it in a smaller size, and that was quite a while ago now. But yeah, oh gosh, I can't see whether that's up the right way or not. But again, just going to stamp that down. So this is the teal, which I'm hoping is going to be a bit brighter on there. So yeah. Whoops. So again, just even dropped that on there, but you know, I'm not going to worry. Oh, do you know, I've got a feeling I stamped that upside down now. Oh well, never mind. Let's just keep going, keep going, keep going. Because, I mean, to be honest, once you come to use this, you know, no one's again going to be inspecting it to make sure that your script is up the right way or anything like that. You know, you're not really going to kind of notice. It's all going to just blend in. So I'll just put a bit here. Okay, and then I just want to fill in a couple of these little gaps. So again, what I'm going to do is use just this swirl now. And I might use this in Timber Brown. So hopefully this is going to look darker, you know, than that saddle brown. So, I mean, hopefully we're going to have a bit of a sort of, yeah, different kind of look. So again, just go up there, down there. So, you know, just filling in any gaps really that I can kind of see. You know, really not worrying how it is. Okay. Down there. A little bit down there. Oops, very screwed up here. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's going to be interesting when I actually do finally iron this, because you know, hopefully it's going to look even nicer once it's ironed, or it might just look like it's got quite a few blank spaces, you know, where I couldn't see in amongst the screwed up bits, if you see what I mean. But that looks really lovely, doesn't it? So let's put that on. And I'm now thinking actually I might just do a couple of swirls in the teal as well. So let's just get rid of that. Actually, I don't think I want to do swirls. I was about to, and then I thought actually it's probably got enough swirls on there. So let's do, I've got some measure tape here actually. I wonder what that would be like. Oops. I think I had that upside down. So yeah, wasn't looking too brilliant because it was upside down. Obviously as well, these ones with the rubber backing, they're not quite so flexible. So when you kind of try and use these, you know, with just like a portion, they're not so bendable as like a, you know, one of the clear kind of silicone ones. So, I mean, I'm not saying I prefer the clear ones, but definitely I think they're sometimes maybe easier to use, particularly if you're trying to do a project a bit like this, where you're, you know, just kind of using little sort of snippets of the stamp. These are quite firm to be able to get like a little just indentation of a section. So yeah, I would sort of say for something like this, maybe the silicone stamps are a little bit easier to use. So that's that page. Looks pretty nice, doesn't it? I mean, obviously once it's ironed, I'm sure it will look a lot nicer. So yeah. Right, let's pull in something a bit different now so that we have a different colour going on, because otherwise it's probably pretty boring to watch. So I'm not going to use any teal or anything on this. I'm going to use some fuchsia pink, I think, and maybe some mustard, and maybe a bit of brown as well. So maybe the timber brown. Yeah, let's go with these. So let's have a look again. So I might use some of this one because this looked really pretty on there, didn't it? So I'm just going to quickly stamp that off a bit and just give it a wipe. Hopefully get rid of some of that teal. Okay. Oh, I wish my stamp cleaner had arrived, honestly. Should have saved this video until later and done it after my stamp cleaner had arrived, but never mind. Right, let's take my block. Okay, so that's stamping pretty cleanly anyway, actually, with the fuchsia. There's not really much of the teal coming through. So yeah, hopefully I can get away with that. Okay, this is a lovely colour, isn't it? So, I mean, again, I kind of must say, I love the Stays On. I know they're not everybody's favourites. I absolutely love them, and they are just my go-to ink for stamping, generally for stamping anything. And I have had sometimes, you you know, I had one lady comment and say to me, you know, StazOn's not really kind of designed for paper. And she'd said it's, you know, it's more designed for non-porous surfaces, you know, glass and what have you. I mean, I don't know, I'm not an expert. But all I can say is, you know, I've always just had fantastic results using it on paper. So, you know, I mean, my understanding is it's for everything, you know, that you can use it for everything. So I'm not saying that it's wrong, you know, that she's wrong. But yeah, I mean, I've certainly never had any problems stamping on paper with StazOn, you know, and like I say, it's generally, it is my go-to ink. I'm just going to move this slightly. So yeah, but you know, obviously I do realise it's not everybody's cup of tea. I know lots of people don't really like the smell of it and things like that. Personally, again, I love that sweet smell. So for me, that's kind of a win-win. But yeah, I realise that's also not up everybody's street. Right, I'm going to do some Harlequin, I think, and again I'm going to use the pink for the Harlequin, so should really give this a wipe just in case it's still got lots of the teal on it. Okay, then I'm just going to stamp this down and check how it's coming out. Okay. Oh, looks pretty nice already, doesn't it? So, yeah, that was good. Right, again, I'm not quite sure what's the top and what's the bottom of this stamp, but, you know, like we said just now, I don't think it really matters, to be honest, because by the time things are on here, you know, and we're using it as a background paper, you're not really going to notice whether it's upside down or not, to be perfectly honest. You know, it will just be a background. So, yeah. Okay. And a bit more, whoops. Maybe down there. Just trying to get sort of rough, you know, random eclectic kind of patterns going on. Okay. And honestly, this is such fun to do. So, I mean, you know, not only are you obviously using some of your old stash again, maybe you, like me, have got some old packaging paper, maybe you've got some of this inked papers and things where you've made some and things, you know, so not only are you able to use some of those items, but also it's, you know, it's quite a therapeutic kind of nice process to do. So yeah, hopefully you would really, you know, really enjoy doing it. And of course, you're going to make some lovely papers that you can then use on other projects, which is, again, you know, a nice bonus too. Now, I'm just wondering whether this mustard is not going to look very nice on this yellow. Do you know, I'm going to just try a bit, and if it looks horrible, we will have to, oops, we will have to try and cover it up. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I thought it was going to look really good. But of course, you know, it may take on a different kind of colour being on this orangey background. So there is that to factor in, I suppose. Okay, so as it happens, you can see it's got some other coloration from obviously where it's been stamped previously. Personally, in this instance, I actually think that's improved the look of it, because where it's just the pure mustard, I'm probably not that keen, you know, on this particular piece. So I'm actually quite pleased in this instance that it's actually picking up some of those old colours, because I actually think it looks better on here. I'm not saying that, you know, that's always going to be the case, but just on this particular case, or on this particular piece of paper, I actually think that that's worked out a bonus, because it actually looks better for having that. Okay, so I mean, there it's going a bit more mustard, and actually I don't like it as much. So yeah, definitely I was preferring it with the bit more of the green, which then leads me on to, I've got the olive green here. So I'm now thinking, let's use some of the olive green, which again, I mean, I would never in a million years have put the olive green on here, but seeing how nice that looks in here, I think the olive green would look pretty good. So I'm just going to move my camera slightly again. Yeah, I think the olive green actually would look would look pretty nice on here. So, right, just going to go in again with my little swirly one here. Just going to check. Okay, oh, my olive green's really dry. I've had it for years. I might not be able to use the olive green after all. Yeah, I probably should buy a new olive green pad. Okay. Well, it's coming out a bit, and it is getting a bit better now. Yeah, really, I should just buy a new one. But again, you know, like with all these things, I hadn't really realised that until now. So it's a bit late now for this video. So I'm just going to go for it and hope for the best. Okay, it's not coming out brilliant. So I'm just going to take portions of this because I might be able to press a little bit more defined. Okay. Oh, I think I'm fighting a losing battle with that one. So let's just see whether I can get a better impression with the silicone, because like I say, sometimes I do find the silicone stamps, you know, they don't drink the ink in so much, if you see what I mean. So, I mean, obviously, if the ink's quite dry, that's a good thing for then, you know, getting kind of it to go further, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I think it's definitely picking up a bit better on here, isn't it? I mean, don't get me wrong, definitely it's on its way out and I need to get a new one, but yeah, it's better on the silicone stamp. So again, just put that in there. Love the addition of the olive green. It looks very nice, doesn't it? So yeah, okay. Just put a little bit here and a bit down there. Right, so I've just got one or two little sort of blanky type bits. So I'm just going to go in with, I think with some script actually. So yeah, I'm going to take just this little script stamp. Now I've had this for years and years and years and years. I think it may have been, oh, I don't know. I feel like it could have been a Prima, yeah, maybe a Prima stamp. I'm not sure. Actually, I think I prefer the top. Haven't used it for a while, so yeah, I had to suddenly kind of remember. But I'm sure the top I prefer always to the bottom. So yeah, okay. So I'm just going to put that in one or two of the spaces. Okay, and a bit down here. Okay, so that's that one. Isn't that gorgeous now? So, I mean, that's gone from, again, being, you know, quite a rubbishy piece of paper that I didn't really overly like to, you know, looks really, really pretty now, doesn't it? So I think we've probably got time for one more. So let's pull in again the brown packaging and do one more background page. So yeah, I mean, I just really love doing these. They're very addictive, I find. Right. So again, obviously this has not been ironed or anything, and yeah, I just apologise now. I should definitely have ironed this. And yeah, I'm sure that you all probably think, you know, why didn't you iron it before you came on? But hey, ironing's not really my favourite thing to do, so it didn't even occur to me, to be honest, to iron it. So, but like I say, I will have to iron it, I think, before, you know, before I actually come to use it. Okay, so I'm just using this one, which is Royal Purple. I mean, I have to say, it's not the most purple, if you know what I mean. I mean, it is purple, but it's quite dark. It's not like a really vibrant purple. It's quite a darkish purple. But it's a lovely colour. And, you know, this is a newer pad, so it's great because it's obviously now, you know, it's making a really good impression. So after that olive green, this feels like such a pleasure to use. Okay. Okie dokie. So I might go in with something else while I've got the purple here. So maybe we can even have one of these little bird stamps. So again, I'm going to stamp this off. Because this is again one of those thirsty stamps, you know. And yeah, I mean, loads of you have now said about using an emery board and things like that on my stamps. I still haven't done it. I'm going to try it. I keep saying I'm going to try it. I should just try it. I was just having a quick look in my drawer that's open, thinking, oh, have I got an emery board even here? I could just try it right now. Okay. Okie dokie. And then should we go in with, maybe we'll go in with this one. Again, absolutely love this stamp. This is another Crafty Individuals one, I'm pretty sure, but I've had it for a really long time, so I'm not 100% sure of that. But yeah, I think it is Crafty Individuals. But it's one of my all-time favourites. You know, even all these years later, I still love it so much. So yeah, really, really lovely stamp. Okie doke. So again, just stamped it off a couple of times, and then I'm just going to stamp this in a couple of random places. Okay. And then I might go over with just partially stamping with this one. Let me just get a couple of full pieces, you know, prints, and then I might just go in with just odd bits. So maybe we'll have a bit here. Maybe a bit up there. And maybe some down here in this corner. Okay. Right, and now I think it's possibly time for a bit of the teal. What do we think? Feeling like the teal would be, you know, a really good contrast for this. Oh, do you know what? I've just had a bit of an urge to do some fuchsia on this as well. What do we think? Am I just going to spoil this completely and make it just look like the House of Horrors? Or do we think the fuchsia might look really good? Oh, do you know, let's just be really adventurous and go for it. So get some teal, put down in one or two places. Because again, although this may look horrifying, you know, right now, don't forget when we come to cut this up and, you know, it's been ironed and we ink it and things like that, you know, we're going to tone the colour down quite considerably, I would imagine anyway. So, you know, it may then look quite different to how it's looking currently. So, yeah, don't be kind of too put off by my weird combinations that I'm doing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm also winging a prayer and keeping my fingers crossed that I'm not just talking rubbish here and it is going to look nice. But yeah, I'm hoping it will. Right, and I've got this scripty stamp as well, which again, this is a Crafty Individuals one. So I'm going to just take some of this script. I'm going to press this upside down, you know, turn the paper upside down, just because it's a bit easier then to just get the bottom of the stamp. So, yeah. Okay. Just, again, press all around. You know, just want to fill in as much of the blank gaps as I can. So, like that. And again, you know, making sure I'm going right down to the edges. Like that. Okay. Okie dokie, a bit here. Oh, do you know, I haven't had breakfast yet. I'm going to go and have some breakfast in a minute. I'm going to have a smoothie I'm still trying to be really healthy. I've been trying to be healthy now, having my smoothies for, I mean, actually since the summer. So yeah, quite a while now. I don't know whether it's honestly doing me any good. I mean, I've still had that horrible cold, obviously. So I don't know if they're really kind of benefiting me much. But hey, at least I can feel like I'm being healthy, even if it's not really kind of doing much. Right, I'm having a look now to decide what else to put down with this. I might have to quickly just, I mean, I'm more than happy with, you know, using the same old stamps again. But I'm just thinking as an interest, you know, from an interest point of view for you guys, I should probably pull in something else because, you know, it's probably pretty boring watching me using the same stamps. So, yeah, I'm just having a quick look through my stamps here. I have also got those gorgeous ones that I got from the lace and leather. So, actually, I'm going to pull in one of those, I think. So let's take these. Okay. I haven't emptied these out yet into my kind of box of favourite stamps, so I must do that as well. Right, let's put this one down here. Oh, isn't that lovely? Okay. Yeah, I mean, as I say, don't forget, this is all going to hopefully show up a lot better once I've ironed the paper. So, you know, it will hopefully have a different kind of appearance once it's all been ironed out. And, yeah, it will hopefully all look a lot better then. So, there we go. But to be honest, what just brilliant, mindless fun this is. You know, I love a bit of stamping, to be honest. And it's really nice to be able to just get my favourites out and have a bit of a play with them. Right, let's just go in a little bit here to the side, just so I've got some overhanging off the edge of the paper, maybe a little bit over here, for the same reason. Okay, and then just go back in and get one more. Let's have that one. Okay, and again, I'm just going to stamp just a tiny portion of this, actually. Oh, yep, I just wanted to check that I was doing it up the right way. Because I thought, oh, wouldn't be surprised if I do it completely upside down, to be honest. Okay. There we go. Bit there. Do I need any more? Any more? Maybe a little bit there. And then just going to go in with this side now. And just do a bit there, I think. Oh, might have to put another bit of that somewhere because that looks really nice. So just have a little portion there. And yeah, perhaps just a tiny bit here. Oops, now my stays on lid's gone in the bin. Okay. Right, that paper looks so lovely, I can't tell you. I mean, it's not the brightest, it's got to be said, it's not the brightest. It's, yeah, it's kind of muted, but once that's ironed and things, it's really lovely. I mean, if I saw some wrapping paper with all those lovely bits on there, I'd buy that, to be honest. So, yeah, that's probably kind of where we're at for today. I mean, obviously, for this series, we're kind of using our own, you know, or shopping our stash. I probably am not going to get time to actually use the pieces that we make during this series, if you see what I mean. So it will be a case of in the new year, we'll dig out some of these bits that we have made and come back and use some of the bits that we've made. But I really hope that you like the papers. I hope that they've maybe inspired you to get some of your stash out and start playing and shopping your stash. And yeah, have fun if you do. So thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys soon. Thanks then. Bye.